And we are back, man. I got another stream brought to your way, man. I know I've been gone for a minute. I'm gonna have Kenyon on tonight, and it's telling him his call can't be completed. So let me try sending him to him again. If you can hear me, Kenyon, try calling again. Let me see. So yeah, guys, I have Kenyon on hopefully tonight, trying to get him into the queue. Hopefully everything works out because we want to do our SteelTable discussion. But I want to say what's up and howdy do to all of the people who will be coming in here, early. I already see Kegel's Bagel. I see Y Diggy. So what's up to you guys? I expect it to be, kind of slow until, I guess notifications go out. I've taken a couple weeks off of this thing. So, I don't expect the crowd that we normally have. But let me check and see if Kenyon can get in here. And if any other you guys, man, if you guys want to call in, go ahead and attempt it. Let me know if the queue is working. Sometimes Blog Talk Radio does what it wants to do. Excuse me. So if you guys can let me know how that's working, I'll wait a few moments, man. And what's up to Darren Dalton as well, Sherman Slaughter, Anthony Blewett. Hope I'm saying that correct. It's kind of spelled kind of like to it. So hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, like I said, I just want to wait a few minutes, man, to see if Kenyon gets up in here. And make sure you guys throw some information in the chat, man. Let me know what you guys want us to talk about. What we plan to hit is some of the, the obvious things. We want to talk about, again, it looks like the Steelers staff might not be making a change. So we'll give our discussions on that. I mean, it's not too late to do it, but by this time, normally we would have heard something. So we'll discuss that. We'll talk a little bit about Bill Cowher, man, him going into the Hall of Fame and what that means. And, I have an interesting point that I want to make in regards to that. And we'll definitely talk about, man, early thoughts. Early thoughts of what we think the Steelers may need heading into the draft. So we'll chop that up a little bit. And like I said, man, anything you guys are able to provide us in the chat. Anthony said close enough. Give me a phonetic spelling, man, so I know how to pronounce it. Maybe one of the letters are silent. Like I said, I tried to take a guess at it, and I was thinking that it would be similar to it, how he spells his last name. But yeah, give me a phonetic spelling if you can. Let me see what Kenyon is saying. Wow, it's saying that the queue is not working. So let me try it on my side, guys. Y'all seeing this live and in real time. I'm just gonna dial a number here. I want to see what happens. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Maybe the phone queue ain't gonna work for us tonight. Let's see. 924. All right, let's see what it's saying here.
We're sorry, your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or call your operator to help you.
Wow, that's interesting.
We're sorry.
So let me try another number. Give me a second. Oops. Y'all know how Blog Talk Radio is, man. See, there they go, fouling up again. Let me try another one, Kenyon. I might be able to slide you another number. Let me see something really quick.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
All right, so what I'm going to try to do, Kenyon, and I'm going to bring you in to see if I can get you in as a host. So give me just a second. I'm going to see if I can shoot you an invite here. 1 second. Well, actually, I'm going to send you the number. So guys, bear with me, man. It seems like the ordinary phone number is not working. So I would expect we won't have any phone calls tonight. But I'm still trying to get Kenyon on here, so y'all bear with us for just a second, man. I'm gonna have to give him the host phone number. Let's see if that works. All right, so 1 second. But how's everybody doing, man? How you guys doing? Hope everybody is good and lovely. Hope everybody had a happy New Year. Hope you guys had a great holiday. I know I've been away for a couple weeks. My bad, man. It's just, to be honest, guys, it hasn't been a whole lot to talk about. That's number one. Number two, I've had a lot of things going on, with New Year and Christmas and things like that. So, my bad to you guys, man, for not keeping you abreast to what I'm doing. But there you have it. I'm back at it now, man. I'm going to try to keep this as consistent as I can. Hopefully we can find things to talk about leading up to the draft and free agency and things like that. I don't expect the Steelers to be a heavy player. But let's see. 1 second, Kenyon. All right, we'll see if Kenyon can get in right there. And I'll wait until Kenyon is able to get in before I dive into all of the conversation. So what I'll do right now, man, is I'll just dive into some of you guys' chats. Dragon Jay-Z says they need a quarterback coach and a veteran wide receiver coach and someone to teach Edmonds his hands can be used to catch things like footballs. Absolutely agree with that. What's up, Jay Waller? Hello, Erica J. Black Hawk was good. Vista Light is in the building. Kegels Bagel says if we were to fire Fittner, who are some of the candidates for his replacement that are outside of the Steelers currently? And that's the thing. See, that's where I fall short. You know, I never know who the coaching replacement is. I never know. You know, that's always my thing. Even when people want to come for Tomlin's head, you guys know I always say, well, who's the replacement? I mean, obviously, offensive coordinator-wise, I'm looking at guys on other staffs. But if these guys are not in a contract situation, you know, how are we just going to pull them away from another staff? You see what I'm saying? So I really don't know unless you're talking about the college ranks. And if that's what you're talking about, of course, people are going to say, you know, guys like Lincoln Riley and all of that type of jazz. But if we're going to say that, so now we're talking about completely changing up, you know, the quarterbacks that we have and things. It's a lot that goes into those things, man. You have to kind of build your structure. You got to kind of put something in place, if that makes sense. And then you build around that, and then eventually it blossoms. I don't think we're at the point right now where we could do extreme changes. You know, maybe you can get somebody in there that could semi-utilize the tools that we have around a Ben Roethlisberger. But, you know, I think when it's time to get a legit franchise quarterback, that might be the time that they will seek another offensive coordinator. But we'll get into that. Hopefully Kenya can get on, man. I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen with that. Let me see what else you guys got really quick. Darren Dalton says, from top to bottom, which part of the staff do you think needs to be seriously evaluated? Hold my beer. I'll get to that in a moment. Hello, Debbie. Gotta always say hello to the lady of the chat, as well as Erica J. If I, you know, I don't always assume, but sometimes people are in other people's accounts. So if you are a woman as well, we want to say hello to you. And if that is the case, there's 3 female viewers that we know of now that we always want to give our utmost respect to. Obviously, Debbie, Lanisha Hayes, and then Erica J, if in fact this is a female viewer. Let's see. What else y'all got, man? Like Dragon said, they probably, a quarterback coach hopefully will be adding one. Yep. I'm not opposed to that. Let me see. Y'all got anything else while we wait for Kenyon? Darian Clark says Ramon Foster is holding the offensive line back. Yeah, I can see that. You know, he's getting up there in age. He's more lumbering now. He's always been a bigger guy, but, you know, it's really starting to show now with him being older. You know, he's never really been the, you know, fleet of foot type of guy. Cesar Diaz says Jason Garrett would be an interesting offensive coordinator. Well, we saw what he did in Dallas, and I'm not talking about as a head coach. Just think back to the days when he was the OC. You know, was he somebody that, you know, tickled your fancy? I don't know. I don't know if I could necessarily say that. But to be honest, you know, I would have to go back and evaluate. Let's see. Let me check on Kenyon, guys, and if not, I might just have to move on. I'm not gonna be on, you know, too terribly long tonight. I got my 6-year-old here upstairs now. He's occupied with television. You know, my wife is out at the moment, so, you know, can't let him be but too long. You know, he's okay if you lock him into one of his shows, but, you know, still got to be a father. You know what I mean? Debbie says Anthony B. I think it's the O-line in its entirety. Bad penalties by Villanueva, low snaps by Pouncey. They just didn't get a lot of push in the trenches this year. And once again, we're going to give a round of applause. Let's do that to Debbie. Right on. Yeah, I agree with Debbie on that, man. You know, there was a lot of nonsense happening when it came to the offensive line. Almost got Kenyon, guys. He's saying that the pin number wasn't recognized either. So let's try this again. Hoping we can get him on here, man. I don't know what's happening with Blog Talk, man. You know, obviously it works because we're on. It allowed me to stream. It's allowing me to stream for the amount of time that I normally stream. That's not the issue. Let me see. Yeah, see, I just changed the time, so I still have my platinum account, if that's what you want to call it. They surely don't give me platinum service, right? But I was able to call and host the show. So why is the call-in number not working that's on the screen there? And why isn't I can't get Kenyon on with the PIN number? You know, for the host dial-in. This is crazy, man. I desperately need to look for a new service. You know, I'll be evaluating that, guys, you know, while we're in the off-season. And again, it's kind of tough because I want to say this again for some of you new viewers. What I'm looking for is a situation like Blog Talk Radio. What Blog Talk Radio offers for people like myself, or let's say, you know, people who take live calls, not necessarily podcasters, because a lot of times podcasts are pre-recorded. This is a podcast, but, you know, I do a live show. What I want to do is allow people to call in live via phone number, which means I don't want anyone to need an account. I don't want an account for a service to be required for you to dial in, such as it is with your Google Hangouts and your Skypes. I don't want that. You know, I want people to have the freedom to be able to call in with a phone number, so it does not require any type of membership or anything like that. You just dial in. Blog Talk has been good to us. Some of you guys know that sometimes, but then other times it's a train wreck. So if anybody knows of a service like that, again, a service that allows phone calls and queued phone calls, where I can pick and choose who to bring in, who to mute, etc., etc., please let me know of another service. I will look into it. You know, if the money is right, if it's comparable to Blog Talk, I will happily jump ship to make this the most, you know, painless process as possible. But again, a lot of you guys have given me the feedback and say, hey, why don't you try Google Hangouts? No. That's not going to work because, again, in the past, when I've done other shows, you know, people want to engage and they don't have an account, and it's just not fair to you guys to do that. All right? So that's what I'm looking for. We're going to wait a few more minutes, man, to see if Kenyon can get on. I'll spend maybe a couple more minutes in the chat, and if not, I'll go ahead and just, you know, roll it out on my own, just start talking about some things, and, of course, I'll get your feedback in the chat. All right, so we'll make something happen. So let's see what we got here. Daryl Duke says, the Steelers' second-round pick in the draft, do we go offensive line or would you take a running back? Ooh, y'all got some good questions, man. I'm trying to hold them until Kenyon gets on because we're going to have a great conversation. Erica responded. She says, yes, I am a lady that loves the Steelers. My husband is a Panthers fan, but it's all love. Hey, shout-outs to your husband, man. It sounds like and that he has a nice woman by his side. You know, she's a Steeler woman. It's always going to be cool with me. So shout outs to you, Erica. Shout outs to your husband. And I promise, husband, if you are watching this, I am just a Steeler fan. You have no worries here. She's not watching because I'm a guy in her face. No, this is just a Steeler thing. I'm a married person, so I understand how sometimes, you know, not me, but I understand how sometimes, you know, with spouses and, you know, you looking at something and your wife peek over and it's a woman's face, they automatically like, what is that all about? So if you happen to see this, she's just watching because she's a Steeler fan, all right? Nothing to worry about there. Let's see. It says the host is already. Oh man, it's giving Kenyon all kinds of problems, man. Hold on, guys. So I could send him an invite. Well, how do I send it? I have to send it to him by email. So let me tell him, shoot me an email address. All right, guys, I swear, we going to try to make it happen, man. We 15 minutes in, and again, for you guys who are watching this, please bear with me. I promise we're going to get some conversation going, but in the meanwhile, let's have the conversation with you guys in chat. What's up, Leonard? My father-in-law, Leonard, around the corner. The phone queue is acting crazy for us, Leonard, man. I'm trying to get Kenyon on here so me and Kenyon can have a nice little conversation. So let me try to get him in right now. The phone number is not working for him, so I'm going to try to shoot him an invite. I want to see if this works. Let's see. All right, let's see if it works, folks. We're going to see. I'm going to send it twice just in case it didn't go through the first time. Oh, no, there it is. It's in there. All right, so it looks like it's going to give you a link, Kenyon. And I don't know if it's connecting you via computer or via phone. Let me see what happens if I click the link. Okay, I see what it is. I see what it is. So let me let Kenyon know that. Hold on, guys. We're almost there. We almost there. Let's see. All right, man. So hopefully Kenyon will pop up in here, man. And if he does, it'll be all gravy, all gravy. All right. So back to you guys, man. Somebody said Kenyon back. Yeah, Kenyon is always here, man. We just haven't had Kenyon and my good brother Tony on in a while as far as live calls, but they always roam in the queue. All right, so let's see, guys. I'm sure y'all don't mind waiting because y'all rather hear a conversation form. So let's wait a few more minutes. Let me read some more comments. Luis D, I don't know if the draft has some good tight ends in this year's draft, but I believe that's the way to go if it's available for the Steelers to improve that area. Ben needs that security blanket. I agree with you 100%. We're definitely going to talk about tight end. Let me see what Kenyon got. He says, okay, let me switch. Give me a second. All right, guys. It looks like Kenyon's going to get up in here in a second. Kegels Bagel says, I got a couple questions. What is your favorite Steelers moment in each AFC North stadium? Oh, man, I don't. Kegels. There's no way I could come up with that off the top of the dome. I just can't. It'll take me a while to figure that one out. In each AFC North stadium, I mean, there's quite a few I can roll off, when we're talking about Heinz Field, but some of mine are going to be biased because some of these games I were at. So obviously those moments are going to hit a little harder. Like, let me give you an example. The year when Ben Roethlisberger gets hurt, Landry Jones comes in the game is dragging along, and all of a sudden he finds Martavis Bryant on a quick slant. Martavis reverses field and goes 80 yards down the field. That will always be one of my favorite moments because I was there to witness it in person. Another one that comes to mind, obviously most of you guys will recall this one. Antonio Brown, and maybe we'll talk about him a little later. sad stuff going on with him right now. But Antonio Brown, man, with the reach, you know, on Christmas Day, that's another amazing moment. You talk about Troy Polamalu, you know, with the sack fumble on Joe Flacco. Troy Polamalu, the interception, you know, to seal the deal against Joe Flacco and the Ravens. The one-handed, the scoop interception by Polamalu in the snow when he uses his fingertips. I mean, it's so many that I could run off quickly from Heinz Field. However, it's going to take me a minute to really sit back and think of what my favorite moments were, you know, in Cincinnati, in Cleveland, in Baltimore. One of them includes Antonio Brown again, and I think this was an away game, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't we away when Antonio Brown had that that punt return, and he kicked dude in the face and broke his jaw or whatever? I don't think his jaw was broke. I think the jaw got broke by we were at home when Terrence Garvin laid a block on Huber, I think his name was. But I think we were in Cincinnati when Antonio Brown kicked him in the head when he tried to hurdle him. That's a favorite moment for mine too. Another one that I remember in Cincinnati a few years back, play action from like our own 10-yard line, and Martavis Bryant is streaking down the right sideline. Ben Roethlisberger hits him on the run for a deep touchdown. See, I can remember some as I continue to talk, but I honestly cannot just pinpoint my favorite moments in the other stadiums. I just can't. I just don't remember. Somebody said that was the Browns. Okay, see, I know it was one of them teams, but I don't remember who. But yeah, there you have it. All right, guys, bear with us a few more moments. Kenya should be on in a moment. Debbie says, Kegels, will Moss's son take plays off like his dad did? Pull up on the routes. Yeah. I hope not. That kid had a nice game last night, man. He did. And of course, sure, I would love to see a guy like that land in Pittsburgh, but you got to remember, guys, you know, based on how our offense is right now, it's going to have to be a certain type of guy. You know, if we could have a complement, like if we could have the bruiser type, blocking capable tight end and a guy that can stretch the field, great. You know, like imagine what we almost had created when Green was still there. You know, if Green would have worked out, we had the guy that could fly down the middle of the field. And then I want to say Jesse James or maybe Spaeth, one of those guys was still there along with him that was more of our blocking tight end. So if we're going to go with some of those guys, some of the guys that are more like your stretch, I call it, you know, the same way you talk like stretch four in football, that's what I call some of these tight ends, your stretch tight ends. Like these dudes is like, they're almost like over, you know, a little bigger wide receivers. When you talk about dudes like Ingram, you know, out at the Giants, these dudes are not real tight ends. You know, your guys like that. So in order for us to get one of those type of guys, you know, he's either going to have to be a dual capable type of guy, or, you know, he's just going to have to be, that's his only game, and then we get a bruising type guy. But right now, we don't have that complement at the tight end spot. You know, Vance McDonald, I don't know if he had an off year, if he was injured, I don't know. He didn't really do much. And I'm not going to put it all on the tight ends because, you know, obviously the quarterbacks are a big component of that. Obviously, we know Ben Roethlisberger will work the middle of the field with the tight ends. You can't really say that Duck and Mason Rudolph had that on their mind, so that could have contributed to the, you know, the lack of production from the tight ends. I don't know. But yeah, just keep it in mind, man. If the prototype tight end probably for the Steelers right now is going to be a guy that can, you know, catch. You know, he's durable. He's a possession type of guy, and he can block. So, you know, when you start thinking about certain tight ends, you know, and I think Moss could probably, I don't know really about his blocking, but looking at his, you know, his body type and all that, it probably seems like he could turn out to be an overall well-rounded type of guy, but we'll see. And everybody keeps talking about running back. That's why I can't wait for Kenyon to get on here, man, because I think my response to this question that you guys are giving me about the running back might surprise you. I think it might surprise you a little bit. Might surprise you a little bit. What else y'all got? Droves Hill says, do you think we could get Trevor Lawrence or Felipe Franks in 2021? Here's the question. It comes down to where were the Steelers? Where will we end up in that particular season? What's going to be our draft position next year? Right? That's number one. Number two, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because you would assume. Obviously, Ben Roethlisberger is saying he's going to play out his contract, right? So you would expect next year, if not this year, next year obviously is the draft that you would want to look for his replacement, give him an opportunity to sit behind Roethlisberger for a year and learn and then take over the keys after that season. All right, it's saying that he can connect with Skype. Okay, cool. Let me see. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear Kenyon. Let's see. They should. Yeah, that should be fine because he'll be coming through my desktop, so you guys should be able to hear him. So there you have it. But give me a second, guys. Let me see. Is he connecting through Skype? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I could just pull up Skype too. All right. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to pull Skype up. Then we'll get Kenyon in here. And so, obviously, guys, if we're doing Skype, then you guys probably have already figured out then there's not going to be an opportunity for you guys to call in. If y'all want to try to call the number and see if it works, great. Again, it's not my fault, but I'm going to take credit for it because I'm presenting the show. Blog Talk is acting funny. So if some of you guys can possibly try it and maybe it'll let you through, I'll be happy to bring in your call. But for right now, we're just going to bring Kenyon in via Skype. At least that way you can hear the two of us. You know what I mean? So let me get him on here. Let's get the headset on. And then we will chop y'all up. But like I said, man, it's going to be tricky with that whole quarterback situation, man. Because what if the Steelers feel like Mason Rudolph is the guy? I already know what y'all going to say. No, he's not it. I get it. I'm just saying. We don't know what the organization thinks. We don't know what they're going to think about him come 2021, excuse me. So, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, man. You never know. You just never know. All right, I got Skype up. I'm going to see if Kenyon is ready. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, never mind. He's already in here. Okay, cool. We don't need Skype. All right, Kenyon. Now, let me see. Did it connect you? I'm sure you can hear me, so text me if you can hear me. Did it connect you through the computer, or did the phone line finally work? And I'm just making sure you can hear me before I unmute you. So just confirm that. And once you confirm that you can hear me, then we're going to have at it. All right, we're waiting, guys. One more second. I'm just waiting to get confirmation. Excuse me. Because if he can't hear me, then it's the same problem that we've run into before with Blog Talk. And if that's the case, then we will have to do Skype. Either way, we're going to get y'all some conversation. I can hear you. All right, great. I'm about to unmute you right now. All right, Kenyon. You are unmuted. And I have you unmuted. I don't hear anything yet, but definitely if you can hear me, fire away. I don't hear nothing yet. And you guys let me know if you guys are hearing Kenyon. I don't hear nothing. Let me cut this music off. Not the phone. Oh, man. I wonder if it's delayed. It shouldn't be, though, because if you're connected as a host, you should be able to hear me in real time. But you're unmuted, but I don't hear anything. So I don't know what is happening. They say no, they're not hearing you. Yeah, so I don't know if Kenyon is hearing me in real time, man. That's my concern, because even his text is not like right away. So if you can hear me, Kenyon, if we can't hear it, if we can't get it going here in Blog Talk, go ahead and jump on Skype. He says, hold on. All right, I'm going to Skype. All right, yeah. Let's do that. He says, give him 2 minutes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up Skype. Just call me when you're ready. I can pick your call up, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys. So a little raggedy tonight, right? That's what happens when you take a few weeks off, man. You see what happens when you do that? A little raggedy tonight, but I'm sure you guys don't mind. Y'all know what it is. All right, man, let me get back to y'all, what y'all was saying. I'm going to hold my conversations for when Kenyon comes on. And this is good right here, man. You guys are giving me a lot of things to talk about here. What's up, Lanisha? How you doing? Always got to say what's up to the ladies, man. We got to respect them. Let's see. One of you guys said something. Anthony Blewett says, I read an article in regards to the Steelers hiring Callahan as the O-line coach and his commitment to the run, which I think we need. Okay, I'm cool with that. Now, is it official, or was it the article basically just saying that they should do that? Because I didn't see anything official, and I'd be totally honest with you, I didn't really research it. Like I said, I haven't had a lot to research right now in this period of time. I've been trying to watch a little bit of film on players, and I've just been kind of enjoying the off period for a slight second, because I don't want to, have any lull time with the show. I want to keep this going at least every Tuesday until, it starts getting into the thick again. But I will be honest, I haven't looked on Steelers.com or anything like that lately to hear any news. Outside of listening to, the terrible podcast over at Steelers Depot. I always do that. Let's see. Jason Winningham says, if we lose Josh Vaughn, Hargrave, Harsham, what? Wait a minute, I'm confused. You say if we lose Josh Vaughn, Hargrove, Harsham, the possible replacements. I don't know if that's exactly what you're trying to say. So again, I'm going to read it like it's written, and maybe I'm not abreast of the names, but I think you're trying to talk about Hargrave. But he says, if we lose Josh Vaughn, Hargrove, Harsham, the possible replacements. I think what he's trying to say, I'm going to try to put my thinking cap on. Let me turn it around. Thinking cap says, if we lose Hargrave, who are the possible replacements? I think that's what he's saying. Turn the cap back around. Baby Yoda says, Daryl, neither does Derrick Henry, but we had a good O-line. Our O-line was so bad this year. Okay, so he's saying Benny Snell is an adequate running back. He's okay as a rookie, but he do not have the breakaway speed that the defense is game plan against. That's all I'm saying. Well, you know what? I'm going to comment on that just a little bit. I mean, when is the last time the Steelers have actually had a breakaway speed type of running back? Not saying that I wouldn't want that, but I get it. If we're going to say that, then we're definitely talking about a whole different strategy, from what we've known the Steelers to do, which I'm cool with, by the way. But we know the Steelers like their backs big. We haven't really seen a true speedster since Willie Parker. Maybe there's a couple guys in between there, but I'm talking about a guy that was a home run hitter. I mean, we drafted Chris Rainey. He was going to be more of a gadget guy. He wasn't going to be a featured running back. And Dre Archer, which he wasn't a running back per se either, was more of a receiver. But a featured back, it's been a long time. I mean, Le'Veon Bell was definitely not a breakaway speed guy. And, he did work for us when he was with us. James Conner, not a breakaway speed guy. But James Conner is a very serviceable, pretty good daggone back, if healthy. Right? And I get it. Benny Snell just fits into that same mold. Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is not a blazer either, but he's fast enough. He runs a 4.5 supposedly. And 4.5, ladies and gentlemen, I know people always get caught up on 4.3. You rolling if you run a 4.5. I'm here to tell you. You flying. Like, that's fast. It's not slow. 4.5 is getting on down the field, right? But again, he wouldn't be a blazer per se. Derrick Henry is more of a lumbering fast guy, meaning that once he gets ahead of steam going, he might be able to outrun you to the end zone. But he's not the hit the corner and I'm out type of guy. Now, the only guy that we have on our roster right now, which I'm hoping he will sign a futures contract, which I believe is going to happen, is Cowher White Jr. Now, Cowher White Jr. is the type of dude that when he gets to the corner, put his foot in the ground, he can be out. He can be ghost in the right situation. But other than that, that's just not the Steelers' forte, per se. They don't really. I haven't seen us really go after a speed guy to be the featured guy. Just saying. Yeah, I see a couple of you guys agree with the Willie Parker thing. Yeah, I haven't really seen it since Willie Parker. Rashad Mendenhall, yeah. Mendenhall was decent. He had some speed to him, but I didn't view him as a blazer for whatever reason. I don't know why. To me, I didn't always view him as a home run hitter. Maybe it was his run style. I don't know. Who said D'Angelo Williams? Fam. D'Angelo Williams? Okay. Especially not when he played for the Steelers. He definitely wasn't a breakaway speed guy. D'Angelo Williams was a quick guy. Very quick. And even in his heyday, he has some speed. Like I said, a lot of guys have enough speed to where if they get an opening, they can beat somebody to the end zone. That's different than being a breakaway speed guy. I wouldn't classify D'Angelo Williams as a breakaway speed guy when he was playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know a lot of you guys are talking about, I saw a couple guys, on some of the Facebook groups saying we should get Derrick Henry, and I'm like, obviously, you guys are not paying attention to the situation. The Steelers don't have no cap space for that. But we're going to get into some of that, man. And, if we can get Kenyon on here in just a moment. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to mute you guys for a second. Let me check on my little man, my 6-year-old. Give me a second. He's not answering. Let me check one more time. Give me a second, guys. I'll be right back.
Yep.
All right, good folks. So y'all just confirm that y'all can hear Kenyon. I'm sure you can, but let's make sure, and then we'll chop up some of these things, man. Try not to be too long. Like I said, got the 6-year-old upstairs, keeping an eye on him. But we'll dive into some things. So if you guys can confirm, can you say something to the people?
Hello, everyone. How are you?
All right, guys, confirm that. Somebody said I was muted. Yeah, I'm unmuted now. Y'all should be able to hear me and Kenyon. So as soon as y'all confirm that, okay, Kegel said we all good. So, all right, man. So a lot of things to try to cram in here, man. So I'll actually give you the floor first. Out of all of the little things that's going on right now, man, what's the first thing you want to talk about?
I think just this is gonna be this might be a Steelers kind of like off-season year as far as everything that's going on with Bill Cowher getting in. I'm hoping Donnie Shell gets in.
Yeah.
If Troy doesn't get in, sums up. The odd man out might be Faneca, but I think he should have already got in. But it could be one of those type of years. Everybody get prepared. We're going to play in the Hall of Fame game. Everybody get prepared. We might be on Hard Knocks. So, like I said, this might be a Steelers year.
Hard Knocks. That's going to be interesting.
That's going to be crazy. So, I mean, I think that's the thing, the general consensus that I have as far as like what's went on over the past week. That's been like that's the positive. That's the best way I could put it. And other than that, wherever you want to go, you know me, I can just, whatever you go, I can just follow and break down everything. The things you won't say, I will. So it's all good.
Well, while we here, I'm gonna go ahead and hit this and get it out the way real quick. I would like to tell you guys that you Mike Tomlin haters, I'm here to tell you. Listen, I love Bill Cowher. That's my coach. You know that you know, the look with the jaw, the chin, whatever you want to call it. That's my guy. But I'm here to let y'all know that Bill Cowher getting into the Hall of Fame should be a slap in the face to some of y'all. And the reason why is that means that Mike Tomlin is going to be getting in the Hall of Fame. Because before it's all done, whether he's with Pittsburgh or not, his numbers are going to surpass Bill Cowher. And I'm just being real. It's going to happen if he coaches long enough, whether it's with the Steelers or somebody else. So that's probably a gut punch to some of you guys that hate that man. He's going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. And you can look at Bill Cowher getting in as evidence that he will get in also. So how do you like that? That's got to hurt some of them people.
And that's a fact, like he just said. It's actually, if you compare the records now, Tomlin has a better record right now as far as like accomplishments. So, me and Sim were texting the other day. I said if Cowher got in, then Tomlin has to get in because Cowher has one Super Bowl and he has losing seasons. Tomlin doesn't.
Yep.
I don't know the way you want. I don't know how y'all want to take that, but it's just a fact. So, it is what it is. It's kind of like you can't use the argument of somebody using somebody else's players because every coach inherits somebody else's players. It's really what you do with them. So, it's kind of like Tomlin. If he don't even. I'm trying to think. Does he have to get to another Super Bowl to get that? No, because he's been to 2, right? So he's been to 2.
Yeah, he's been to 2.
So I don't know. I think you guys that are so out on Tomlin need to go look at Cowher's record. But we've said this before. You need to look at his compare their records, and if you compare their records, you really can't say anything, But I'm looking forward to that day. I mean, I think Tomlin will be around for a minute, and he has a chance to win a couple of more. But everybody compares Tomlin to Bill Belichick, and that's a bad comparison because there's nobody else that's doing what Bill Belichick has done ever in the history of the league. So it's just a reality that you have to kind of look at. I mean, everybody praises Andy Reid, and he doesn't have a Super Bowl. And he's choked in big games, actually.
I hope Big Andy get one this year, man.
I do too.
I like to see it. Now that the people that you expect that would have been there, not there. I mean, no Saints, no Patriots, no Ravens. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Come on, Andy. This is the year. This is the year.
No excuses, Andy. This is it. You know what I mean? But that would be interesting if it was. I mean, because I picked Kansas City to win it. Like that was like if the teams I saw in the playoffs, even with the Ravens, I thought Kansas City could score enough where it would bother. Well, the thing that happened to the Ravens is the thing I kind of was worried about with them. Like they were always leading, and that offense works when they're leading because you can just run the ball, eat up clock, and it's just hard to defense. But once they got down, I was like, we're gonna find out right now how good they are. And Tennessee had the game plan, and to bother them. So, and once they got the lead, you know what I mean, it made the Ravens. It kind of exposed them. So, I picked Kansas City because I thought nobody could score with them. I just thought they could score whenever they wanted to, and we found that out Sunday. So,
You know what's funny too, guys, and then I promise we're gonna get back into the Steelers stuff. What's interesting is I look at Tennessee, and a lot of people say, "Oh, you know where the Steelers did it? They was a 6 seed." No. But even more, the comparison that I see is the way they win it. Remember when the Pittsburgh we was just a smash mouth, run the football, play defense. That's what they doing. You can't turn your back on that. As much as I think Tennessee ain't not gonna be able to hang with Kansas City, I didn't think they was gonna do what they did to New England. I definitely didn't think they would do what they did to Baltimore. I thought that would be a rush fest, like Baltimore running the ball, they running the ball. Who's gonna have the ball last? That's what I thought it would end up being. But I'm gonna tell you, man, if Derrick Henry can keep running the football like that, and they can control the clock, it could get ugly. Because Kansas City was exposed a little bit too in this game this past weekend with the run. You know, they was giving up some runs early.
Yeah.
And that won't Derrick Henry out there. So, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. But either way, I don't think they can't beat the 49ers. So, I'd rather see Kansas City. And I'm not going to just automatically rule out Green Bay. You know, I feel like the Niners would probably win. But if the Niners get there, I don't see any other team other than Kansas City that will make it interesting.
It's weird because I think that Tennessee beat Kansas City, well, they beat the 49ers this year, right?
I'm trying to remember. I know did they beat Kansas City? I want to say they beat Kansas City.
I think they beat Kansas City. So they beat Kansas City. So they kind of match up. And I think me and you talked about this the other day. They match up with them. I think Tennessee has a better chance of upsetting Kansas City than Green Bay has of upsetting 49ers.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. Because, like you said, Derrick Henry, thing about him is he gets better as the game goes along. So if they have a lead and they can just run the ball like they've been doing, you know what I mean? It's you know, and for people out there who think Ryan Tannehill is balling, he's not. He's only passed for 170 yards the last 2 games. So he's not balling. It's just that they're controlling the clock, and he's making the timely throws. As Sim said, he made the timely throws.
Yeah,
and he's not turning it over. But I think Tennessee has a shot to me. They have a shot.
Yeah, man, and just to answer this question real quick, I just wrote it, but I'll answer it out loud. Deb said, do we play the AFC South next year? And yes, we do. Yep. We got them, and we got the NFC East.
Yeah.
And I forgot what the off two games. I can't remember what those teams are.
Yeah, I'll try to find that.
But we definitely have, obviously, y'all know, 6 games in the AFC North, and then the AFC South is that division we're playing, in the NFC East, and then it's always going to be the 2 teams based on how the playoff and all of that went and who plays who. But I can't remember which teams, the off teams that we got. But yep, it's going to be a little interesting. It's going to be very interesting, especially running backs that we're going to face.
The off teams are Buffalo.
Wow.
And
of course they give us Buffalo again.
Yeah. Buffalo, and I'm trying to see who else.
Denver. Said Denver.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, not necessarily an easy schedule, people. So we shall see. But speaking of the Steelers, man, I'm going to ask Kenyon first, because I know a lot of people want to know. Do you think there would be any staff changes at this point, seeing that it's already been about 2 weeks since the Steelers season has ended? Are you expecting any staff changes?
Well, if they're going to make a staff change, they have to make it soon, because that staff has to go down to the Senior Bowl on the 19th.
Yep.
So if they're going to make a staff change, I mean, the question is, do I think or do I want it to happen?
Right.
I mean, I think we've kind of accepted the fact that Fichtner's coming back. Butler's coming back. The person I wouldn't mind they could get rid of is our special teams coach.
Oh, Danny Smith? Yeah.
Danny Smith to me could go, and I would be good because the special teams has played well. They played well this year. I would say they played pretty well this year, but it hasn't been consistent. And special teams includes punting, and our punter had a bad end of the year, like the last 4 games as far as his punting. And I think watching Tennessee makes you say you got to have a good punter because Tennessee, their punter puts them in positions where that defense can make plays. You know what I mean? Like putting teams in bad situations with field position, and field position is a part of the game. So I can see Danny Smith being excused, and that's pretty much it.
Let's see, as some of you guys can see, my 6-year-old has wandered in here. What's up? What you need? You need something? What? Water? Say it, just say it out loud. Water. Okay, go ahead. Here, take this one. I'll be done in a little bit, okay? Done. Mommy might be back by then, but alright. Go watch your TV. Alright, guys, so there you have it. You know, you got parent duty. But yeah, Danny Smith. Yeah, but just like Kenya said, man, it's hey. The 19th is very soon, folks.
Yep.
So that's all I'm saying. I don't think it's gonna happen. You know, me and Kenya have talked offline. You know, we haven't had a show in a while, so I'll definitely, you know, mention to you guys what we kind of talked about, kind of rehashing what Kenya said. Fichtner, I mean, the main thing you need to know is I doubt very seriously that the Steelers are willing to yank the Fichtner system out when Ben Roethlisberger is saying, I'm going to play 2 more years. Don't expect that to happen.
Yep.
Would I like it to? Of course. I would like to see a change. I think we need some youth infused in the defense and the offense. And the reason why I say defense, because most people are going to say, well, you know, the defense did great this year. They did. But I still want to see more, you know, just a little more creative things, man, and stop always relying on, you know, think outside of the box a little bit. And I think maybe a younger coordinator, you know, like the guy from, you know, even attitude-wise. I like the dude for the Niners just because of how passionate he be looking on the sideline. You know, dudes like that. Offensively, obviously, yeah, I just want a young mind. I mean, I'm not saying an older guy couldn't get it done, but I'm just talking, I mean, in your 40s. You know, be in your 40s or less. And I would love to see it because the game has changed. However, it's funny that we say that because you look at Tennessee and it looked like they playing 80s football.
Yep.
But guys, it ain't gonna happen, man. You know, it's not gonna happen with Butler because, again, as much as I would like to see something different, I don't like his situational football all the time. But when you look at where we finished at the end of the year, you know, what's gonna make the Steelers organization say we got to move on? Yeah. So.
And Butler in a sense, what you were saying, if they were going to let Butler go, because his contract expired, so they have to have had talks with him about coming back anyway. So, you understand what I'm saying? So, like, they would have had to make that move. It would have been announced. You know what I mean? So I think that I agree with you. We all know Butler's faults. Everybody knows how I feel about Keith Butler. So, you know, me hashing it out now doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? I kind of liken it to 48. It's the same thing. It's like you had like 4 or 5 years, and then, you know, the 5th year you ball, and then so now he's great. It's like, okay. So it's like, but you discount the 4 years before. And Butler's the same way, where they had communication issues. I will say that with Minka coming in there, their communication issues weren't the same. You know what I mean? You didn't see like a lot of guys out of position, you know, prior to Minka coming. And I don't know if it's just because Minka understood what he needed to do, or Butler didn't put him in bad situations. You know, the issues with the Steelers defense is that they play zone when it's like 3rd and 14 or 3rd and 18, and they give up like first downs. That's the most frustrating thing you can do. So I don't know if Butler doesn't see it. I know he sees it because it's on tape, and I know he sees it because it's happening. But you have to make that adjustment, And I'm not saying you have to play man. You can play zone, And then to his credit, that front four can get there. Now, those 4 guys can get there, So he can afford to play that zone, play a little cover 2, play a little cover 3. Like what Alex Kozora was saying, and I would urge you guys to try to find this video of when they were playing cover 7.
Oh yeah,
which really shows you a little bit of what they're doing, like hybrid defenses. So, I think with the amount of talent that they have on defense, I mean, to be honest with you, they should be ranked number 1 and number 2 in defense. They have first round picks all over the defense. So, I mean, my issues with Figner are a little bit different because, like Sim has said, and me and Sim always talk about this, is this, you can't really judge him because of it was almost like when Ben went out, it changed everything. And to try to change everything on the fly is kind of hard. But I do agree with Sim, is like when you watch San Francisco, they're running the same running play with different motions and trick people.
Yeah. So
you kind of do need that. So, I guess in a lot of ways, it's, I guess I have to give Figner a chance. I'm not saying that I like him, because I'm not saying I do. I don't hate him, but I don't like him. So he's somewhere in between. He's like in limbo to me. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with the team. And part of it is the offensive line didn't play great this year. I know people don't want to, but they didn't. Ramon Foster is probably done.
Yeah.
And as far as you have to start thinking about the future. I mean, it's Foster, Pouncey, not DeCastro. I would agree with what they said on Steelers Depot. Move Filer to guard, because he might be better at guard. And
he got work this year.
Yeah, and just let the 2 left tackles, the 2 right tackles battle it out. Our pick for right tackle has not really played great. He did play well in the game he played in, I will say that. But, he just they have to make some changes on the offensive line as far as keeping it sturdy, especially with Ben with these 2 years. Because I'm telling all y'all, they're going all in these last 2 years. That's what they're going to try to do. I mean, so the blow up that you want won't happen until after Ben is gone. So, because I think Cowher to be gone, Ben to be gone, Pouncey to be gone, and it'll be a whole new world.
Yep. You absolutely right. We'll see, man. And just to answer a couple of these chats we got here, appreciate the donation, guys, man. Definitely appreciate that. First, BJ says, we always promote from within when we look at assistant coaches. I would like to see some outsiders come in and give another perspective. I cannot disagree with that at all. I fully agree. I mean, it's cool. I understand the inbreeding. I do get that. But at the same time, come on, man. If you can, if you can go on the outside and get some talent in, it's just like free agency. Why not take that approach with coaches? But then the second thing here for Roughhouse Boxing, what's up, Roughhouse? Real quick, I see an area code 763 in the phone queue. If you can hear me, please let us know in the chat, because that means that it must be working and you were able to connect.
Right.
So maybe it's working, and we'd be happy to bring you in for a hot second. However, Kenyon won't be able to hear you, but if it's working, Kenyon could easily call the queue, and then we can do it from there. But just let us know that. But the next one was Roughhouse. He said, should I start shedding tears for losing Hargrave? So I'll throw it to Kenyon with that one too, man. We will attack this question, and then I also want to talk about, who people should think we should bring, but who do you think, or what position you think will be the main focus in the draft? But really quick, we know our money situation is not necessarily right. I didn't know that at first. I was one of the people that was under the, perspective that Antonio Brown, even the dead money is gone now. I was thinking we were going to have more money. It really shocked me when Dave Bryant said, and again, guys, if y'all are not reading or listening to Steelers Depot, you're really doing yourself a disservice. You know, me and Kenyon do our best with Steelers stuff from a fan perspective, and Tony as well, but, you know, we are still just working people. Like, this ain't our full-time job. Right. These guys do this day in, day out, and they do a phenomenal job with just the information and breaking things down from contract stuff and all of that. So Dave Bryant said a month or so ago that our cap was going to be very, very slim. I don't understand that. I don't know if it's because, you know, I pitched it to Tony on Friday when I talked to him. Maybe it's because we have a $100 million quarterback. You know, is that one of the biggest problems, that he's eating a lot of the cap? Or, well, anyway, I'm not going to get into that tonight. But basically, I found out that we didn't have a lot of cap. And I immediately thought about, man, so what if Bud Dupree does have a good season? Are they going to try to sign him? What if, you know, Hargrave does what he normally does, which he did this year? Are they going to try to sign him? What about what they normally like to do with, you know, Juju, guys like that going into their fourth year? They like to restructure. How that's going to happen? What about TJ? Now you're probably going to be forced to pick up his fifth-year option just to give you more time. So the question is, like what Roughhouse is saying, who do you expect that we're going to lose? And do you think that we're not going to have Hargrave going into the 2020 season?
Roughhouse should get some tissue because that boy gone.
Yeah, he's gone, man.
I mean, he's gone. And, you know, to give you a better perspective on Hargrave, because people think it's, you know, Tomlin kind of told you what they were going to do at the last press conference, at his final press conference, when he said, you know, 48 is our priority. And when he said that, in my mind, I already knew, okay, Hargrave's gone, because there's no way you can get a deal. Somebody's got to go. Yeah. A couple of people got to go. You know what I mean? He's not the only one that's walking out the door on defense. So, you know, I think Hargrave is gone because he's going to get better money. And actually, he'll get to play more depending on what team he goes to. Because with the Steelers, he only plays 40% of the snaps. I know people think he plays more, but he doesn't. He only plays when they're in their base 3-4. He only played in the nickel this year because Tua got hurt.
Yep.
So he only plays 40% of the snaps. So by him only playing that percentage of snaps, he's not worth, in the Steelers' mind, and they're right, he's not worth the money. Like, why would you pay him that much money to be a situational pass rusher or a situational stopgap? You could get a guy like that in free agency. There's Billings from Cincinnati. You can get somebody like that in the draft in the 4th and 5th round. That's just, you know what I mean, that you can just plug up holes. You can actually let Tyson Alualu play the nose tackle in that 3-4 when you play that base 3-4, because he can do it, because he did it in Jacksonville. That's his original position. So, and Alualu has played himself in a situation where he played above and beyond what I thought, or what we thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
So that guy, to me, so losing Hargrave, yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. Their cap situation is so dire that they have to do it that way. So, you know, I think they may address it in the draft, or I think they may address it in free agency. Or maybe they can slide Bugs over there too, because Bugs can play the 3 technique. I'm just telling you guys how some of those teams think, and I mean, we love Hargrave. I wish him well, and I think he's going to do well wherever he goes. But I don't see him coming back.
Yeah, I don't, man. And yeah, I appreciate that, Daryl. He says he can't hear me in the queue. You must be able to hear me, you know, on the computer here. That's that blog talk for you, man. And I don't know. I'm desperately going to research it. I'm not going to worry about it too much right now, but for sure, man, by the time we really get going again, I might have to go another route if I can find another service. I've been unlucky with finding a service similar to it. But yeah, I think Hargrave is gone. You know, I don't really have to add more to that. Kenyon summed it up. That money is just not good. And again, I was baffled. I thought we were finally at a point where the money was getting a little bit better. But I can only assume, and you know, me and Tony both was like, maybe that is the reason. I can only assume that it's because we have a $100 million quarterback. Now I haven't looked at all of the other teams to see how, their cap situation seems to balance when they have a quarterback making that kind of money. But when I look around our team, where else is it at? I mean, there are some other guys, but it's got to be Ben's cap penalty or cap hit that sucks up a lot of that money. So it seems like we're going to be in this situation until Ben retires, because if you listen to what Steelers Depot was saying, it's possible that they may have to try to rework Ben and create some space for this year, even though he's only going to play 2 more years. Then that's going to be a bigger hit next season. I don't know, man. But I think a lot of people that you wouldn't think probably are not going to be on the team. McDonald could be another one of those guys. Chickalo is probably going to be gone. If it get really necessary, a guy like Vince Williams might, you never know. I doubt it, but it's possible, depending on where they want to trim the fat. Because I'm almost certain that the way, and I'm going to be fair and say, call him 48 tonight. I'm going to side with Kenyon tonight. The way 48 played, man, hey, it's hard to say. It's hard to imagine that the Steelers are going to let that walk out the door. Not only because of this season, but think about it. It seemed like they've been very patient with him.
Yeah.
They was willing to pay him $9.5 for 1 season. They could have easily said, nah, we're not going to give you the 5th-year option. And we would have been talking about him as a free agent last year. But they didn't. So that makes me believe that with him finally having the season that they kept telling us, remember, we kept hearing COVID say, no, I think we haven't seen the best of Bud Dupree. We finally saw it. I think they're going to do whatever they can to keep that dude, man.
Yeah.
And that might mean franchise tag.
And to add on to that, where are you going to find another pass rusher like that?
Yeah.
You don't have a first-round pick, so where are you going to find another pass rusher like that?
Yeah. You
can't say I'm gonna get a rookie, because if you get a rookie, you're going back. You're essentially going backwards. You know what I mean? You can see the chemistry between 48 and TJ.
Big time.
It's undeniable now. You can't argue it. So he's coming back. It is what it is. I just hope he plays like that again. I want him to play like that again so I can start calling him his government name. That's what I want.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's the thing, guys. And Kenyon will probably agree with this. If he plays like that next season, Kenyon will call him his name. Remember, The reason why we started calling him 48, and Kenyon started it first, but the reason why we all agreed to it is because we felt like he has just been another guy up until now. And I've been lenient with him this year. I was like, you know what? I'm going to call him Bud again, because he's been balling. But why couldn't he have been this at least by year 3?
Exactly.
We were hoping that he was going to be what TJ has been. TJ was decent rookie season. Not great, but we saw the potential. Took it up in year 2. Took it up even further in year 3. And now, that's why we were so critical on him, because you were expecting by year 3, that's the steal away. They're expecting to see the bang from their guys.
Yep.
Right? And we didn't see that from him. Until this past season. He got off. There's no question about it. But I don't know, man. I think we're going to be it's going to be some surprise cuts, I think, because it might not even be the obvious ones. It might be situations where they actually keep McDonald and there's somewhere else where they cut the money. So.
Great point, because I'm thinking that right now, too. Speaking of that, I don't want to go to the tight end thing, but just like what you just said, I'm thinking to myself, I think me and you texted about it, me, you, and Tony, and I think I said, I don't know if they can release Vance, because looking at the draft prospects,
yeah, man,
and I've sent some videos, and we've seen some people. I don't see anybody that's coming out that's a tight end that's on Vance's level.
Yeah,
I don't. Not with a second round pick. Not with a third compensatory and a fourth. Nah. I don't see any tight ends coming out where I'm saying to myself, oh, that guy can help us. And people have to remember, Steelers don't like those flex tight ends that can't block. That's an issue when you can't block, because they want to run the ball. So Vance, in a sense, fits both of those bills. Now, he had a down year, and I think me and Sim always talked about this. Mason Rudolph and Duck did not throw the ball in the middle of the field at all.
Nope.
So when Vance was getting the ball, he was getting the ball like on like, you know, him leaking out and putting him in bad situations. If that's Ben is hitting Vance in the middle of the field. He's looking for him. So I'm just saying, you have to look at the big picture sometimes. I think Vance had a down year. I do believe they have to draft a tight end or get a free agent, because Vance is only going to give you so many snaps. He's only going to play so much. He will be injured. He always gets hurt. He got hurt at San Francisco. He got hurt at Rice. He's always been hurt. So he's like a specimen. He's like the old school Corvettes. You know what I mean? With the great fiberglass body. But if it gets hit, it's all jacked up. You know what I mean? So that's how he is. So I don't see anybody in the draft and I liked. Me and Sim were talking. I liked the kid out of Purdue. I think his name Bryson. I liked what I saw.
Big
and I
boy.
liked. Yeah, I like the kid out of
No, that
Stanford.
ain't the big boy. Pinckney is the big one, right?
Pinckney is the big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Pinckney's the big boy.
Oh, yeah. Bryson was Bryson Hopkins, right?
Yeah, Bryson. Yeah, Bryson
he's
Hopkins.
nice.
Yeah, he's nice. And then we like the kid out of Stanford because you can line him up. You can flex him out. And he's like 6'7". He was beating corners. You know what I mean? But I don't know if he can block. And you know, and I'm not so quick to give up on, like, everybody's already giving up on, like, Gentry. Like, he's already done. Like, he hasn't even played. So, you know, you kind of have to look at the big picture sometimes. And I'm just looking at the big picture. I'm just playing devil's advocate and just being honest with myself, not what I hope to have, what was realistic. So somebody else may get cut. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, I want Barron gone, but is UG3 ready?
Yeah, see, that's the thing, guys. That's what y'all have to pay attention to, man. And I know Leonard probably laughing, because me and Leonard had these conversations all the time. Like, even on Sunday, I was like, Leonard, I get it, but you're looking at it from a fan standpoint only, which is fair. I'm not saying any of you guys are wrong, but Kenyon and I and Tony have, I guess, I don't want to say graduated, because it's not saying you have to, but it's like we see it from a different standpoint, especially with me doing this, and it's more of a journalistic approach. Like, I look at the realistic situation instead of saying, oh, we should do this, we should do that, I try to think about what is the team going to do. And you can't, you know, like, because, you know, me and Leonard always go back and forth about, you know, cause he's watching Tannehill and how he's playing. Why didn't we go get us a veteran quarterback? And I'm like, you got to look at this from a bigger picture. At the beginning of the season, there was no reason for the Steelers to go seek a veteran quarterback as a backup. They expected Ben Roethlisberger to be starting the season, because the last couple seasons he actually made it all the way through. He turned that around. You expecting your third year or your third string, because this would be his second season, your third round draft pick in Mason Rudolph. You expected him to come along. He looked good in preseason. You're cool there. And then you had Josh Dobbs that you're expecting he ain't going to have to play. There was literally no reason for the Steelers to go out and get a veteran quarterback.
Right.
Now, when Ben went down, an argument could be made, but who was the guy? At that point, who do we go get? Who was available? If there was somebody that you felt you needed to go get, who was available? I literally don't know. But even if you look past that, this is your opportunity to see if your third round draft pick was worth it.
Yep.
So all I'm saying, guys, is we can't always go off of, you know, the results. We can't go off of our wants. We have to try to look at it from what's the team going to do, how are they viewing it, which leads me to the next thing I'll throw to Kenyon. And maybe this might be the last thing we talk about, because I don't want to leave little guy, you know, by himself too long. What you think, Kenyon, at this moment? I know this going to change up until April. But right now, not only give me a quick prediction on who you think they might go after as far as position, but what should be their main focus in the second or third round?
Great question. I think I think they could. I think with their second round pick, they will pick the best player available.
Yeah, I
It
believe
will
that.
not. It will not be a need pick. It will not be like we need this or we need that. It won't be like that. It'll be the best player available because of the lack of picks that they have. They just need to build around to keep helping Ben. I saw an article where they were saying that the Steelers have a trio of three wide receivers that are good, and I think Alex Kozora said something like he would like to see a quick slot, but I'm like, not really. They need a big receiver. And all you have to do to understand they need a big receiver is look at the people they have signed post-season. Since the season's ended, look at the receivers they've signed.
Yeah.
They've gotten big receivers, 6'5", 6'4", 6'3". But if you can get you a big receiver, I'm hoping it's the person who I think they should pick up, who I think fits Pittsburgh perfectly. I think he'll be there in the third now. Because Sim was telling me he didn't think he would be there. He didn't think he would be there. And I was starting to go with him on that. Then I started to look at all the receivers that were coming out, and I started going, nah, he's going to get pushed down. It doesn't matter what he does because he's going to get pushed down. Yeah, two of them last night. So it's
goodness.
So if you can just I think he may be there in the third, and he might be available in the third. And I think we picked like 69th or something like that. So he might be there. Whatever, depending on what the compensatory pick where we land, I'll take that back. So from 49, he might be there in the second, and if they look at him as a value pick, they may get him. Look, Deontay Johnson was not on anybody's radar. He wasn't on Sim's radar. He wasn't on my radar. We were shocked. Go look back at the show.
Yeah.
So
didn't even know who he was.
Didn't even know who he was. And I'm not necessarily a big believer in draft who they bring in for the draft because they didn't bring in Juju. See, that's always my thing. When people tell me that, I say, but they didn't bring in Juju. Yep. They didn't even scout Juju. Yep. They didn't even scout him. So if they go best player available, and he's there, me personally, if I was doing a Madden draft or like Sim does his Madden draft, my second round pick would be Michael Pittman Jr. That's who I would pick.
Tried to get him, man. the CPU beat me to it. But I got Jefferson and I got Donovan Peoples-Jones or whatever his name is. But they valued Pittman high. I was like, man, he gone already? He was gone before that second round pick.
Right. But I think that, that's the person I would look at, and he will be at the Senior Bowl next week. So you're going to get a nice little, for people that haven't seen him, you will get a little look at him because he'll be at the Senior Bowl next week. Another receiver that you should keep your eyes on is what's his from Liberty? What's this kid's name? Look for Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State, 6 feet, 208, because he's a special teams guy. He can run back kicks. He ran back a couple of kicks this year. He's really good. I just think he's another 6-foot receiver. He's faster than Juju. He has like a little bit more speed, a little bit more burst. Michael Pittman has sneaky burst. That's the thing. He's not going to run what you think he's going to run. Like I'm not expecting him to run a 4.4 at combine. I'm not expecting him to do this and that, but I expect him to interview very well. I expect him to, if you watch him on tape, he makes all the catches. Like when you look at what Steelers look for, they look for three things. They look for, can a guy come in immediately and play special teams? Michael Pittman Jr. was a captain on the special teams 4 years at USC. That's what he did. So he would play special teams, and he grinded to become like a star at USC. Like it wasn't given to him. He had to grind. So if you watch him play, he fits everything. He blocks. He catches all the tough catches. Simpson play a little bit. He said the same thing. He catches all those little combat catches. He's 6'4", 220. And his speed is sneaky. He has football speed. Like when you watch him in the game, you see him running away from people. So, and he always gets open. And to me, as much as I like James Washington, and you know how I feel about Juju, he's just a different type of specimen that you would need. He's not a burner. He's not Martavis Bryant burner, but Martavis Bryant couldn't block. Remember, Martavis Bryant could not get on the field because he couldn't block. So Michael Pittman can block. He can block now. So I'm just saying that's the guy to me who fits. Like if you ask me who fits, but the other guys, there's another guy from Liberty. I think his name is Dorian. If you just give me a second, his name is Dorian. Hold up. Give me 1 second.
Another thing I like about Pittman, I mean, It's funny, he's big, but when you look at him, he don't look. You wouldn't think he would be as physical as he is.
Right.
So I love his physicality too.
Oh, Antonio Gandy Golden from Liberty. I think I sent a video to Sim about him too.
Yeah.
He makes combat catches. He's a big guy, 6'4", 216. Like, I just think if they get a receiver, it's going to be a big receiver because you can just look at what they've been doing. And I like the receivers that came in at the end of the year, but I don't think any of those guys. And I told Sim this. I said I think Pip is better than all those guys. He's better than them now. And I'm talking about whoever you want to throw in. You want to throw in like the kid that they brought up from Michigan, the kid we got off the Colts practice squad. Pim is better than them. He's better than them. And I just think he fits the culture because the Steelers want to go away from problem childs, as we've seen with people like AB. You see where that went. So they want to get away from that guy. Pippen is the exact opposite of those guys. He would come in and just be just like Juju and he's a team first guy. He's a grinder. And as Sim said, you look at him, you wouldn't think he was physical, but when you watch him in the game, you see him he trucks people. Like it's crazy. And he has the pedigree. His father played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and was a Super Bowl champion. Michael Pittman the first that played for Tampa Bay back in the day. So he has the pedigree. So to me, that's the guy I'm going to really be looking at. But Antonio Gandy Golden is another one, and Brandon Ayuk is another one that I'll keep my eyes on because those other receivers that everybody's talking about, Jerry Jeudy's and all those guys, they'll be gone.
Way gone.
So I'm not even going to think about those guys. Some of them will drop. Like I think the kid from Clemson will drop. T. Higgins, I think he'll drop, but he's inconsistent. So, and I like T. Higgins. I thought he was actually balling yesterday till he got hurt. So I would just, keep an eye as far as like best player available type people. And I think they may look at a tight end. They may look O-line. If an O-lineman drops that they like, hey, I'm not opposed to them getting a left guard, a guard / center that can play both positions that they can kind of groom, as because I don't think Ramon will be back. Remember, they can lose Ramon, BJ Finney. They can lose both of them, essentially. So, I mean, that would be as far as those two picks. Those are the people I would kind of focus on. But that Senior Bowl next week, all those receivers. The other receiver I think I've seen is the kid out of Texas, Colin Johnson. I will tell you guys this. I saw him play in person. I went to the Texas USC game. I saw him play in person. He was a freshman. He's like 6'6". But the thing about him is he can't separate. That's the one thing I saw that I always see consistency with him. He's just a big receiver. He's like 6'6". And that's nice. But you have to have like a little bit of separation, a little bit of quickness / being fast. And, that's another person they may look at. I don't know how good of a blocker he is. But if you're asking me who's the better player right now, Colin Johnson came in with the hoopla. Pittman has turned out to be, to me, the better prospect because of all the things he brings, especially the special teams thing. The special teams thing to me is really big, as Sim will tell you, because that's how you get on the field. And remember what Tomlin always says: the more you can do. That's the way I look at players now. The more you can do. So I would look at those type of players. I don't think they'll go. I'm trying to think, Sim. Do you think they would look defensive? Another possibility would be defensive tackle.
Yeah. I think you hit it right on the head, man. I think they're going to go best available more than any other time that we've seen in recent years.
Right.
Because of the fact that we don't have a first round pick. And then, I know draft picks are always hit or miss, but, because again, this is another thing that me and Leonard have discussions on a lot. He's seeing that Metcalf is doing this thing. And, see, I don't understand why all them people passed up. And I'm like, it's projections. The thing about DK Metcalf coming out of school, he had an injury. That's number one. He had a little bit of baggage, not too crazy, but then also, they was worried about his route running, even in the combine. His lateral movement didn't test well. But of course he can run. Of course he can fly past people. Everybody knows that. But that's telling you why guys like McLaren and guys like Deebo Samuel went before him. It's not that nobody, they missed him. They missed on him. It happens all the time. I mean, Antonio Brown was a sixth round draft pick. It's just, you got to go with the analytics. That's how it works with drafts. They're going to project these guys, and all of those dudes, 1 through 48, are going to be your quote-unquote best players. The Steelers know they don't have a chance to get the best corner, the best linebacker, the best safety, the best receiver. None of that's going to happen.
Right.
So I think definitely they're going to go best available. I do not think, and maybe we'll save this for another show, but I'll just give y'all a preview. It ain't going to be running back. I doubt it very seriously. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Steelers are going to be satisfied with what they saw from Benny Snell.
Mm-hmm.
What you doing back down here, boy? Here he is again. I'm about to be done, okay? I think they're going to, allow James Conner to be sometimey. But they're going to keep it in the back of their mind. Don't be surprised if they go later on in the draft. I just don't think they do it, but they might. They might do it in the second round. I just don't believe they would. But, like I said, man, I think Kenyon hit the nail on the head. It's going to be best available. And we'll have to wait and see. It's way too early to dive into all of that. But that's all I got, man. I think if I had my choice, I would say if there were a tight end that you really liked, do that. Right. Or an offensive lineman. Because here's another thing I'll say really quick before we wrap up. If you really think about it, defensively, we kind of set. Meaning, we don't really necessarily need a first-round pick type of guy. It would be wonderful if we had that pick because then you could add an even better piece to what we have. But I don't think they're going to be so quick to go for the best defensive player because obviously we can't get them. Same could almost be said on the offensive side. They know they're not going to get the top tier receivers or quarterback for you guys that think they're going to draft quarterback. That ain't going to happen. So you got to look at it from that standpoint. And the whole Jalen Hurts thing, I don't know, man.
Well, I got to comment on that. If you want me to comment on that.
Yeah, definitely do that.
You should have, for those who love Jalen Hurts because he's a running quarterback, because he's mobile. You just saw in the playoffs, if you cannot throw up in the pocket, you'll be exposed. Tennessee exposed Baltimore.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts is more not accurate than the MVP is this year. And he got exposed. And Jalen Hurts is not as fast as Lamar. And he's not as dynamic as Lamar. So, there's two sides of the coin. You have the Lamar Jackson being exposed, but then you have somebody like Russell Wilson who's perfect. Like, to me, Russell Wilson showed he has another gear, another type of skill set that a lot of people don't have, which you love. Yeah. So I think that, just to draft a mobile quarterback, just to have a mobile guy, I don't care. That's not important to me. I care, can you throw between the tackles and can you stay in the pocket and make those throws that I need to move the sticks? Because to me, that's everything. And as much as we love the Texans quarterback, you see what kind of issues he has sometimes when he becomes mobile. You know what I mean? Like you see the inaccuracies. You know what I mean? You saw last night in the national championship game when they made Trevor Lawrence get off his spot, and he can run. He's mobile, but then you see Joe Burrow, who just moved a little bit in the pocket here, a little bit in the pocket there, and was killing them. So I don't look at quarterbacks as you have to be able to run. You have to be able to run enough or to be able to move in the pocket. That's the most important thing. Running quarterbacks don't last long in the league. It is what it is. Until I see one play 15 years, and maybe Russell Wilson will be the first. But, Lamar has issues. So I'm like Sim. I don't think they're drafting a quarterback. I think they're riding Ben to the end. I'm just telling everybody they're going to ride Ben to the end and try to win it. And running back, and as far as running back goes, look, I know people like certain people. All that stuff is great, and all that stuff is nice. But they have 4 running backs on the roster.
Yeah.
So, what running back that you could bring in that you think is great will fall to 49? Because I'm looking at the running backs that you're talking about, because there's Sim's favorite guy, Swift out of Georgia.
Oh.
There's J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State. They'll both be gone. they'll both be gone. So those two guys will be gone. The kid out of Alabama, Najee Harris, I like Najee Harris, but what's the difference between him and Benny Snell? I mean, they're the same player. Yeah. They're the same player. So you have to, they have the running backs and they have variety. I think you have to let those guys grow. And I do believe Connor, he's now proven himself to be a guy that can get injured, can get nicked up a lot. But that's why you have a Benny Snell. Jalen Samuels might be just a guy. He might be just good for certain situations.
He's the guy I wouldn't mind seeing somebody compete with.
Right. Because
that's not a high draft pick.
Yeah, that's not high. Yeah, you're not going to bring anybody in. The only player I think you could bring in where I would be excited is if the Steelers could somehow find a way to get David Johnson from the Cardinals, because he doesn't fit in their offense. Now, you give me David Johnson, even with tread on his tires, he's better than Jalen Samuels.
Absolutely.
And so, that's the only person I would even consider. So it's not doom and gloom for me. It's like I don't want to be one of those people that starts looking ahead and start saying, well, we need to get this or we won't compete. No, the reality is you have to roll with Ben, because if you try to tank the season and try to get a quarterback that you think, remember, key word is think, because even though you see a quarterback in college, he looks great, doesn't mean he's gonna be good in the NFL. I mean, how many times we have to go through this exercise? It's like Tim Couch was the greatest college quarterback in the world. Got in the NFL and didn't do anything.
Your boy from USC, Matt.
oh my God! I mean, he had all the hype in the world.
Mark Sanchez.
What are you talking about? I keep going. You know what I'm saying? So it's drafting a quarterback in the top 5 does not guarantee you wins. I mean, look at it this way: Eli Manning was successful as a quarterback coming out of college. Phillip Rivers was drafted before Ben Roethlisberger. Who's had a better career?
Yeah.
You can find quarterbacks are weird because you don't know how it's going to work. And people say, well, you could. It's just hard to do it because nobody saw Tom Brady becoming Tom Brady. So the only quarterback to me where I agree with Sim and he was correct. They should have drafted.
Don't
Mahomes.
even say it, man.
They should have drafted Patrick Mahomes, because when you watch him now, he's different. You know what I'm saying? He's a different dude. But other than that, it's like you don't know, and they're going to ride Ben to the end, just like New Orleans is going to ride Drew Brees to the end. They're going to ride these franchise guys to the end, and then at that moment, the Steelers will look for a quarterback. You talk to me next year. I will entertain the thought of quarterback next year. But this year, I'm not entertaining it. I just don't think they're going to do it. And running back, they may get one late. Me and Sim, I was talking to Sim about the guy from LSU. I think he's available. I take that little pocket rocket.
Yeah, man.
Get him late.
That dude he run real feisty. Like he's not going to the ground easy. That dude looked really good last night, man.
Yeah. So I would just caution, it's everybody wants to throw people away so quickly. It's just interesting to me how everybody is praising 48 now and everybody's trashing. Hear me out. They're giving 48 his props now, saying he's balling. He's in his 5th year, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You're trashing Terrell Edmonds, and he's going into his 3rd year.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just trying to understand like where you guys are coming from, because it's like I always tell people, you can find out who a player is usually after their 3rd season. Because actually 48 surprised me, because after his 3rd season I thought he was a bust. So the surprise is this year in his 5th year option. So I'm not looking ahead to as far as like 2021. I'm focused on the 2020 draft. When you ask me questions about certain players, I'll be happy to oblige you when it comes to the 2020 draft. I don't really care about the 2021 draft. I'll care about that when our draft is over. When that draft is over with, we don't have enough picks for me to worry about that. So I'm just saying, and Sim knows how Sim and Tim will always chop it up about it. So we know exactly what's going to go on. And, we're going to be wrong. Me, Sim, we're all going to be wrong. We're not Mel Kiper. And remember, Mel Kiper's wrong 75% of the time. So is Todd McShay. Like, they're always wrong. Listen to Todd McShay and Mel Kiper, your whole draft will be busted, because they'll tell you get somebody and they'll get somebody else, and you're like, wow. Because the organization knows what they want. Deontay Johnson, Mel Kiper, nor Todd McShay knew that was coming. Nobody knew. Nobody knew. So, you know, it's bust. When you start calling people bust, man, I'm like, how much time do you give them? You calling a bust? I mean, you guys are calling Mason Rudolph a bust, and he's technically only played 1 year because he didn't play last year. He sat. So, as long as Ben is there, you have to look at the team as what they need to surround Ben to make that team the most effective offense they can have to go along with that defense, to me, which is growing as Sim knows. It's just growing. So,
Yeah, man, I try not to throw guys in the trash too soon. I mean, it's the whole fan thing. Your expectations sometimes is just, the realization is we got a great playmaker. We stumbled across a Minkah Fitzpatrick, and wow. But that doesn't mean that our strong safety is going to be a phenomenal player either. Edmonds might just be what he is. Like, I think sometimes fans think that we're going to hit on every position and every pick. It just don't work like that. It just doesn't. You're going to have some very weak links on your team. Sometimes you'll have a cohesive team, but it's still somewhere this guy ain't the greatest. That's just how it works. But, it's everybody's opinion. I'm not sitting here saying that Edmonds is great, but as fast as y'all want to let him go, who's his replacement? Especially this season.
Oof.
With no number one pick. I mean, who are y'all proposing that we replace Edmonds with?
Oof.
You see what I mean? Like, it's easy to say, get rid of him, but from a business standpoint, who's his replacement? Are we saying we're going to find another guy at very best in the second round? It's like y'all say, Edmonds was a reach. It would be a reach to cut him now and try to find somebody to replace him.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Sim just said it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. Like Sim said, it's you can reach and make that move and then suffer, thinking you can replace him with somebody else. Because even Sim had me laughing one day because he was like, "Do you think this guy that we just signed, the kid from LSU, what do you think about him?" I'm like, "I don't even remember."
Yeah.
Because all the plays were being made by Delpit, like he was doing yesterday.
Yep.
So it's unless you're going to get somebody else that you think can walk in and start for the Steelers at strong safety with the second round pick or the third round pick, a safety that you can see that can play box safety. Because the only thing people don't like about Terrell Edmonds is that he doesn't make plays. He's not a playmaker. He doesn't get picks. He doesn't do this. As far as him like making tackles and all that stuff, he does that all the time. He makes plays in the backfield. He does all that stuff. It's just he's not making picks.
Just not the ball. He's not Palamalu, guys. There's a couple players in our history that it's going to be hard pressed to find another one.
Right.
Palamalu at strong safety, not free, even though y'all know, like Ryan Clark said, sometimes this dude was just so instinctive, he would just come out and say, "All right, you play up close, I'm going to play deep." So Some of y'all might have thought he was a free safety, but he was a strong safety. Antonio Brown. I know we give a lot of grief, and again, we got a lot to talk about this offseason, and we'll get to it. But everybody always dives on Juju. I'm not saying he's a number. I don't know if he will ever be a number one. I can't judge it by this past season. But y'all got to remember who we are trying to compare him to from our last number one receiver was Antonio Brown. As crazy as this guy seems to be now, he was clearly the best receiver we've ever had. So it's like, that's all I'm saying, man. Sometimes as fans, we got to step back and almost be like the GM and kind of watch and see how this, how the team develops and who peaks. And wow, Deontay Johnson, who thought, even though after we finally watched his film, we was like, hey man, this dude might be something. Turned out, looks like he might be something. But that ain't everybody. Because remember, Kenyon, they were saying that too. Oh, who's this guy? He's a reach. And nah. That ain't look like he might be special.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the one right here. Here's the one. We got to bring this up, man, and then we can wrap it up. I was waiting for somebody to say this because I've been seeing it all week. Bring Sean Davis back and let him play strong safety alongside Minkah. It's hilarious to me. I gotta make fun sometimes, Kenyon. It's hilarious to me how fans catch amnesia. Even if you didn't know this, you at least should know that Sean Davis was switched to free safety. Why do you think that is? Okay, so if you don't remember that, do you not remember how he played as a strong safety? Nobody was happy with his play. At least I don't recall that.
That's why he got moved.
That's why he got moved. And we all started saying, oh, he's playing, he's had his best season at free safety.
Right.
He ain't taking Minka's spot.
It's not happening.
So I'm just saying, I don't think it's fair to act as if if we bring Sean Davis back, he's going to be a better strong safety than Terrell Edmonds has been. Because you know what? Sean Davis was exactly what Terrell Edmonds is at strong safety. Think about that play. I forgot what team it was we just played.
You just said it.
Yeah.
No, here it is. You guys think Sean Davis is a better safety than Terrell Edmonds. Let me refer you back to 2 years ago when the New England Patriots were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it was the fourth quarter. Me and Sim talked about this for the last 2 years. What did the New England Patriots do in that game? When they were losing that game.
Yep.
They were down. They were losing that game. What did Tom Brady do? He threw the ball and it's the exact replica of what happened with Kansas City Sunday with Travis Kelce.
Yep.
And me and Sim were like, they can't cover him. They have no answer. They put Sean Davis on Gronk. And I know you're going to say, well, Gronk is big. Look, Gronk was eating him up. It was so easy for the Patriots to move the ball down the field. Like, me and Sim saw it coming. As the clock was winding down, they about to lose. They can't cover Gronk. And he was killing Sean Davis, who they put in the slot to cover Gronk. Sean Davis he's a better free safety. That's what he is. But he's not better than Minka. That's the point. He's a good free safety. Minka has the potential to be a great free safety. Two different things, two different levels. He's not a strong safety. As much as you crack on Edmonds, I ain't never seen Edmonds get burnt like that. Not toasted all the way down the field like that. So I'm just saying, when you guys have revisionist history, man, like maybe I don't know, maybe this guy got great recall. I have recall and understand, but I remember that vividly with Sean Davis. I remember that vividly.
And who was that? What game was that this year, man? When Edmonds mistimed, he had a pick and he mistimed it.
Yeah.
In the end zone.
Oh man, that wasn't. What was the game where he got burnt? When you were showing it on film, and we were trying to figure out if Barron pushed him off to him, and he just missed. Remember, he missed. He just was late.
Yeah, I can't.
What was
remember.
that?
Can't remember what team it was.
I forgot what game that was, but Edmonds athletically, he's a better athlete than Sean Davis.
Yeah,
he's just not. You guys are watching Minka, and you're saying, well, he should be doing stuff that Minka does. Nobody does stuff that Minka does.
Yeah, he's just not a playmaker. I mean, it is what it is. He's just not a playmaker.
I mean, I don't have that same. My thing with Edmonds is the thing that you say he lacks, or what people say he may lack. He can improve on that. You can get fumble recoveries and this and that. And the thing about Edmonds I do like is that you never really see him out of position. You see him he might be late, but his footwork is always good and all that type of stuff is always good. He doesn't get a lot of picks, but if you remember in college, he got like a lot of picks. That's why the Steelers drafted him, because he was a hybrid. Because if you watch his tape, he was making plays. It hasn't translated to the NFL level, but I'm not throwing him out in the trash yet. But the Sean Davis stuff is, I don't know what games. The evidence is right in front of you. Sean Davis has not. That's why they made the trade. Think about it. You guys are talking about Sean Davis, and they traded for a person that plays the same position he plays. And I know you're gonna say he's hurt, but I would have made that trade anyway if I was Kevin Cowher. Because Sean Davis he's not Minka, and let's keep it 100. Minka is the best safety in this year's draft with the safeties coming out now. He's the best safety.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, when you guys say stuff like that, it's just it kind of boggles my mind sometimes. I'm like, I don't know what game you were watching, because the games I'm watching with Sean Davis, it's like, this guy wasn't okay. He's good. He's all right. He's just another guy. And somebody would say he's just another guy. And he was a second round pick.
He's just another guy, and that's all I'm saying, man. I'm not making a case for Edmonds. I'm just saying the replacement that you guys are trying. how could you forget that Sean Davis was moved from strong safety? You know, matter of fact, when they drafted Terrell Evans.
Right.
That's the thing. They drafted a position to move Sean Davis to free safety, thinking that would be a better option.
Right.
And then brought in a veteran to help out, you know, in the dime situation in Burnett, and that just didn't pan out. So that's all we're saying, man. I get, you know, yeah, I would love to see better talent. It would be wonderful to have a tandem of safeties. Amazing. But come on, man. I think sometimes we're expecting a little too much. He's just not the playmaker. But at least sometimes he's close. You know, that's all I look for in a defender. Everybody is going to be, you're going to get caught out there sometimes. Even like the kid last night, that corner. And they were saying how dude was torching him. But, I mean, it's going to happen sometime.
Yep.
You ain't locking everybody down. As long as you in position. I just hate to see when guys are completely lost. And Sean Davis just looked helpless at times. So, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. But I guess we can end it right there, guys. Somebody asked, am I going to keep it going through the offseason? Yes. My plan is to keep it going. And also, we'll probably have way more steel tables because, you know, it could just be us talking about what we expect, what news we may have heard. So y'all can expect more of this. Tony couldn't make it tonight, but, you know, I'm sure the next time he'll be able to make it. And before we go, I will say, yeah, man, it is sad that Luke Kuechly has decided to retire at just 28 years old. You know, it sucks. You know, that dude was a premier linebacker. To me, I mean, he's a prototype. Sideline to sideline, diagnosing plays. I mean, dropping into zone. I mean, this dude was phenomenal. So that's a huge loss for Carolina.
Yeah.
Huge loss. So
because he's probably the best middle. He's probably the best middle. Yeah, he is. He's the best middle linebacker in the league. So you retire that early. It's eerily similar to what's the kid from San Francisco that retired? Remember, he retired way too early.
Willis.
Yeah, Willis.
Patrick Willis. Yeah.
Same thing. You know, those concussions are. Luke Kuechly's had what, 2 and 3 years? Yeah, he's had 2 and 3 years. So, you know, that weighs on you.
Yeah, man, I can't be mad at that, man. I know it's a sport that we love to watch, but we can't forget that it's grueling. You know, you got to worry about your health, man. And if I was having concussions like that, I'd probably. And honestly, man, to not be selfish, that I don't want Shazier coming back. I really don't. I mean, unless he is 110% recovered, no real risk of him getting injured again. But I just feel like if Shazier can't play the way he played, mentality-wise, I don't want him out there because he's going to end up getting hurt if he's just not playing. I mean, I don't want him to be as reckless, more controlled, but if he's not that guy that's flying to the football and blowing stuff up, nah. And I don't think he can be that no more with that type of injury. So I would rather him just not. Nah, it ain't worth it, man.
He's not.
It ain't worth it.
I don't expect him to come back anyway. That's just my personal opinion. I think he has to, not do that. And just to address somebody in the chat, I think it's Daryl Dukes. I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying. You said that they traded for Minka because of Edmonds. No, they traded for Minka because Sean Davis got hurt, and they had a hole at free safety. Edmonds played strong safety. His position didn't get taken. He was still starting. So they actually traded to replace Sean Davis.
Yeah, come on, Daryl. Come on, man. I mean, listen, this is a safe environment. We're all fans and we're all giving our opinions, but sometimes we got to be a little more factual with our opinions. Edmonds had zero to do with Minka Fitzpatrick. Only because, again, like Kenya says, different positions, and those two were the tandem. So I don't know. Maybe we're missing the point, but if that's just the cut and dry black and white point you're making, that don't jive because it had nothing to do with Edmonds. But all right, guys, we're gonna go. We'll be back next week. We'll figure out something to talk about. Maybe we'll do another steel table. If not, I'll find something to talk about. But hope everybody has a great week. Hopefully, Blog Talk can get back together because this is the time that we can allow probably more calls and we kind of sit back and hear what you guys have to say. But that's going to do it, man. For myself and Kenyon, we definitely thank you guys for tuning in.
Much appreciated.
Have a great rest of the week. Enjoy the championship games, and I don't know what else to say. Be safe out there. Thank y'all for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday, and we'll catch you next week.